In the archives of British folklore, you occasionally find a campfire ghost story that bleeds over into the police records. We are going to look at an unsolved cold case from the 1920s, one that revolves around a brutal death, a faked inquest, and a piece of physical evidence that should not exist. The architect of this mystery is the author M.R. James. As an academic, James knew exactly how to make the supernatural convincing. His signature was grounding absolute terror in boring academic reality. Which brings us to the coastal town of Seaburg in April. It is the height of mundane, rational modernity. Our narrator and his friend are enjoying a perfectly ordinary holiday, passing the time with card games, idle reading, and golf. That quiet evening shatters when a young man named Paxton abruptly enters their hotel room. He is terrified, violently shivering, and desperate for company. He needs to confess a crime. Paxton's arrival marks the exact moment the rational, modern world accidentally trips over the boundary of ancient, unforgiving folklore. Paxton had been researching a specific, deeply buried local legend. According to the town's oldest residents, 3 holy crowns were buried along the East Anglian coast centuries ago. Their purpose was to act as supernatural wards, secretly protecting the shores from foreign invaders. 2 of these crowns had already been lost to time and the sea. The final crown was watched over by the Ager family, a deeply obsessive bloodline who camped out on the coast to guard the burial mound. But the final heir, a young man named William Ager, recently died of consumption. The crown was left entirely undefended. Paxton used an old 1754 prayer book he found in a curiosity shop, combined with local village gossip, to pinpoint the exact location of the Ager family's burial mound. In the dead of night, he hiked to the barrow. He dug a tunnel through loose, sandy soil, fighting thick tree roots, until his fingers scraped cold metal. Sitting in the hotel room, Paxton opens his bag to show the men his prize. These are ancient silver fragments and ingots from the barrow, representing the tangible, physical reality of the unearthed treasure. But the excavation came with a cost. Paxton explains that by removing the crown from the earth, he created a vacuum. He confesses with absolute dread that he has not been alone for a single second since his skin touched the silver. Discovering history can be a dangerous transgression. Unearthing the past has triggered a supernatural tripwire that refuses to be deactivated. The ghost of William Ager manifests as an inescapable paranoia, caught only in the peripheral vision. It is a dark shape standing by the fir trees that vanishes the moment you turn to face it. The phantom subtly manipulates the physical environment. When Paxton leaves his room, he returns to find his prayer book laid open to the Ager family tree, with his own razor placed deliberately across the page. While digging his tunnel, he hears the unmistakable sound of something scraping the dirt directly behind him. The Guardian even follows him into the public sphere. On his train ride back to Seaburg, Paxton watches the railway guard hold the carriage door open, waiting for an invisible passenger to step in right behind him. This relentless, peripheral stalking takes a severe physical and psychological toll. Paxton is exhausted, unable to sleep, and rapidly unraveling under the weight of an entity that never stops following. The true horror M.R. James crafts here relies on atmospheric dread. The ghost corrupts Paxton's own senses, turning the safety of everyday reality completely against him. The men formulate a logical, modern plan. They will sneak out under the light of the full moon, return the stolen artifact to the mound, and appease the Guardian. The journey from the hotel to the coastal barrow is tense and hyper-vigilant. They move quickly through narrow paths and high hedges, feeling the acute, acrid consciousness of a restrained hostility walking right alongside them. Once at the mound, Paxton throws himself at the dirt, frantically shoveling the soil with bleeding hands to rebury the crown. When the earth is finally packed back in place, a powerful wave of relief washes over the men. Paxton forgot his long coat. Paxton, holding his coat, shakes his head. The men look back and watch the dark shadow simply vanish as it collapses into the dirt. Logic and apologies do not work on ancient curses. Returning a stolen object does not cancel the transgression of touching it in the first place. The ghost executes its final lethal trick the very next afternoon. While the narrator and his friend are briefly out of sight, the entity mimics their voices, calling out from the path to lure Paxton out of the safety of the hotel alone. The men realize what has happened and sprint down the beach to catch him, but a sudden, thick sea mist rolls off the coast, and they are entirely swallowed in blinding white fog. Unable to see, they track the physical evidence left on the beach. They follow Paxton's frantic, modern shoe prints as they sprint toward the ruins of an old coastal battery, but his tracks are not alone. Intersecting and stepping directly over his shoe prints are bare footprints that reveal more bone than human flesh. These skeletal tracks in the wet sand mean the myth of the Ager crown has entered the physical world. The folklore has a literal weight. Through the thick fog, the men hear a breathless, lungless laugh. They rush forward and find Paxton's body at the base of the concrete battery ruins. The violence of his death is staggering. He had dashed straight into the open arms of whatever was waiting for him. His mouth is packed full of sand and sea stones, and his jaws are completely crushed to pieces. When the police arrive, the narrator and his friend make a choice. To protect the secret of the crown, they lie at the inquest, claiming they barely knew Paxton and omitting the supernatural evidence. The police rule it a murder by persons unknown, cementing the event as an unsolved cold case. M.R. James warns that history is a territorial force. Once its boundaries are violated, it will defend itself with physical, visceral violence.